Greetings in the name of Yahuwah and his son Yahusha Mashiach. My name is Malak Shalomo. Today is the 15th of August 2024. It's 9:35 p.m. Eastern Time. And right now I'm in a live trade on ES in the ETH session. So let me just point out some stuff here and demonstrate the strategy I'm working on. So this right here from the anchored from the ETH is the VWAP. Right, that middle line right there, solid red line, that's VWAP. This line right here, that's -1 VWAP. This one here is -2 VWAP. And this dashed red line right here is -3 VWAP. Right, so that's the deviations. This dashed white line here is yesterday's VPOC. Right, labeled there. That's my stop right there. As you can see, iceberg buyers are buying, coming into these supporting lower deviations on the VWAP. So my strategy is today we had an uptrend. So in the ETH, we moved up, came all the way to +2 VWAP, interacted with this high liquidity here, probably got filled or just pulled as it came up there. But as we come back down now, we have this little small accumulation, nothing too big. I was looking at this. This is why I took a late entry on this. This is my bowling green strategy, where we have a slight accumulation, or well, preferably a decent accumulation between -2 VWAP, that dash red line, and -1 VWAP, and we take the breakout and try and get up to at least +1 VWAP. Right, so that's roughly the strategy right there, but there's a few criterias in it. So we're looking for some high volume breakouts and stuff like that. We're looking for some high volume buying coming into this as we come into the auction between -1 and -2 VWAP, which is right, that's -1. Oh, why did that get right? So that's -1, that's -2 VWAP, right? So as we come down here, let me clear this up. Right, so as we come down here from VWAP, this is VWAP right here. We come down from VWAP. We hit -2, bounce back to -1, come back down, revisit -2. See, we have icebergs detected right here. Iceberg starts to go off, right? That's a good sign. We're looking for a reversal long, right? So we in the lower deviations, we're looking for some iceberg buying. People who are thinking along the same lines, like this is a good deal below VWAP, so they're buying, right? So auctions between there a little bit, pops up a little bit, and all of this is like the auction, right? So all of this here is the auction between -1 and -2. So we have two criteria so far. We have iceberg buying, we have the auction. Another criteria I like to look for is somewhat of a floor pivot or a Camarilla pivot level. We don't have any of those, right? In this setup here, we don't have any Camarilla or Camarilla or floor pivot levels. What we do have though, which is significant, is yesterday's VPOC, sorry. So as we come down to yesterday's VPOC, that dash white line right there, probably can't see it too good with the liquidity. We have that as I guess in place of, let's say, the Camarilla S3 or floor pivot S1 or a central pivot, right? So that's what we're working with, right? So we like to see a level that's respected there, like from a floor pivot level or a Camarilla pivot level perspective, right? So moving along here. So at this point here, we're starting to push up, and I'm thinking about where do I want to enter, because as you can see, you get a little rotation here. We're rotating around -1, which is supposed to be my entry area, right? But As I looked at this here, let me see if I could highlight that. Right, so we have a big volume buyer here, right, corresponding with this buy. So I was kind of anchoring some of my decision. This is like my cornerstone here with the decision making. We have a breakout, almost kind of didn't really break out, but got up to that -1 level on the VWAP, -1 VWAP. So we rotated here a little bit, right? So I actually gave it some time because I wasn't seeing any more buy volume inside there. What I did see though was this, let me see here. We did get this seller right here. So this was a concern, right? So this was a pro for the trade to take the trade. This was a con, right? So with that big seller appearing right there, we did have some selling volume around here as well, right? So I waited for it to actually break out, and as you can see, I didn't take a flush breakout here because that's what I like to do. I like to take the breakout as soon as it happens above a -1 VWAP, so you could get as much ticks as possible or points as possible in the trade, you know. So I waited for it to kind of break above this consolidation right here. So took that entry right there, right? So I don't like to take the entry too close to VWAP, but sometimes it's tricky, you know what I'm saying? You have these things like this big seller right here, it could probably just take us back down, you know what I'm saying? So I was mindful of that, but we're working off of buying off of the VPOC area. We have that -2 um, push down here, um, heavy volume, supporting price, no more sellers, no follow through on the selling side, and we get buyers, right? So this is my bowling green strategy where I take the breakout here. I would love to take the breakout closer to VWAP, but with these selling bubbles here, I was a little cautious, right? So took the breakout. It did pull back on me, right? Pull back on me here to, oh, this is middle. No, that was, let's see here. Yeah, so that's pull back to the mid price, right? But anyway, so rotating around -1, eventually got like some really shallow buying going up to like VWAP. So that was a concern as well. We have one iceberg going off here. I didn't really see any icebergs trying to take it back up above -1 into VWAP. So was looking at it cautiously at this point. Then we start getting iceberg buyers here a lot at VWAP, right? So at VWAP, we're getting buyers, but still, again, I'm looking at this trade as a little suspect because on the ask, right, which is that red line. Let me just you see those red lines on top there? That's the ask, and that green line right there, that's the bid, right? So all that right there, that's the bid. So you get to see that on the chart as well. So on the ask here, I'm seeing some exhaustion here, no buyers on the ask, small buying, very, very small blue bubbles here for the buy side, right? A lot of exhaustion here, more sellers in between here. And then eventually we got this weak kind of breakout. So I'm still looking at the trade like, this is a little suspect. I'm not seeing big buys. I'm not seeing really any big volume. I mean, some volume is coming in here, but it's not impressive to me. You know what I'm saying? The way the price action is moving is not impressive. So we come up to this high liquidity. Let's see if they interacted. Let's see, we open that up here. Right, so shallow buyers coming into this liquidity here and then they pulled because this is how much, 78 on the ask, and this bubble is only 8. Then we have 10. I didn't know it just gets smaller and smaller, but they pulled as soon as they hit the liquidity, they just started pulling off. Right, so whoever was on the ask there didn't want to really interact with price action or get filled. So eventually buyers, they trickled We got some supporting buyer here, right on the liquidity side. That was a good sign. You see, there's a bunch of icebergs. This one got canceled, but it did fulfill 34 by 2. This one got canceled as well. Canceled, 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 right? So they interacted and then they canceled. It's like they're not executing the entire order, right? So I don't know. That's a kind of a little suspect, but still iceberg buying, but they're canceling. So this one here executed, right? 319 as we're getting sellers pulling into this here. 319 executed. A couple more cancellations here, and all this is happening around VWAP, right? That red line right there, just above VWAP, and that's where we're at right now. We're at plus one VWAP, first upper deviation on the VWAP, and my target is this liquidity up here at roughly 55.80, 80, right? So the highest price level in the ETH right now from this session is 55.78.84. So we're trying to see if we could get up to at least plus 2 VWAP. Now it's looking like it wants to retest this volume point. I mean, sorry, this VWAP here, but I don't know. I'm thinking about moving my stop up to probably break even at this point or just below -1. Because if it wants to come back at this point, then I shouldn't really risk that much. So I'm gonna trail my stop up to this level here. This stop is at -1, and VWAP has to shield me from getting stopped out. Because after all this buying and stuff inside here at VWAP, they should defend VWAP, you know. So yeah, that's the trade right now. Let's see, I had another trade on gold, but that flopped. I think gold, I had a short on gold, but gold reversed on me or something like that. Yeah. So it was a short here. It was a breakdown of VWAP, and it stopped me out. But that wasn't really like that's not really a setup for me. So I deserve to get stopped out there. So I kind of I took a late entry in this rejection, right? Because this is actually my Black Sun strategy where I get the rejection of -2 or -1 VWAP. I mean +2 or +1 VWAP. So that's the upper deviations. You see that's um, third upper deviation, +3, +2, second upper deviation, and +1. That's first upper deviation right there. That dash red line. So I deserve to get stopped out here because I'm entering right on VWAP. You know what I mean? Trying to chase price and entering in kind of shorting in the hole, like, you know what I'm saying? So this here, this break I should have took this trade somewhere around here, right? Because there's a nice sweep. Let's see the criterias for this here. Yeah, I would say that was a decent entry right there. The volume wasn't in it as much for entry, right? You can see the volume, the sell volume is low. Right, let me see. The sell volume is low, right? But what we have is exhaustion on the ask, right? We have big buyers, no follow through, and exhaustion, and then it just starts breaking down. And I just simply enter around here. We have a nice little sweep. Not really a big sweep, but you know, like a little sweep of the book right there. One tick, I guess, you know, but it shows like a little aggression from the buyers. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, should I enter that a little earlier? I think I wasn't looking at that chart at the time. So I think when I came in, I was seeing the heavy selling, you know. So yeah. So entered short right there on VWAP, shorting in the whole buyers came right in and took me out. So as you see, I didn't really put my stop too far. I put it right here because I knew that I'm entering really in a bad area. So as soon as it pops above +1, I'm out. You know what I'm saying? So I did take a short here as well. Right. So when it came back, took a short. And I think that eventually came back on me and stopped me out here as well. So that was two losing trades on that. And there's a reason why they didn't work out because it's too impromptu. Like after getting stopped out here, seeing the exhaustion, right? Trying to go for the +1 breakdown, but it's too soon. It's too impromptu to kind of take that trade. You know what I'm saying? It did work for a little bit, but I didn't take profit. And I think I was preoccupied. That's why I didn't take profit because it still worked out to a point because we got a +2 breakdown, +2 short to -1 breakdown, right? -1 VWAP. So plus this is the entry on the short 2495.9. And if I did close around here, it would have been around what let's see 2493.7. So this was badly managed. I think I was preoccupied and I wasn't looking at the trade, but I was thinking maybe it'll just work out, so just leave it. But it didn't, you know. So I actually put my stop just at +2. So if it does come to +2, then that means we're breaking out from that level. So that was a poorly managed trade right there. Could have took profit down here. So yeah, I haven't entered gold. Gold is just rotating around VWAP right now. Haven't re-entered. And yeah, that's it. Let's see. Let's check out NQ. I didn't take the same kind of trade on NQ as ES. I think it was a little different. And NQ is kind of crazy. You gotta know what you're doing when you're playing with NQ, man. NQ is a volatile, volatile kind of market, man. And they say it's because the liquidity isn't as heavy as the ES, so price can whip through certain levels quickly, you know. So yeah. So you can see this is a lot more movement in this chart. It moves basically the same as the ES, but with a lot more swings. So let's see, it came up here, came up to +2, then it came back down to right, so that's -2. So I think that's the similar trade here that happened, the bowling green that I took on ES. This is the similar trade here. And to be honest, right, it's looking a little better. It's looking a little better on the buy side on the breakout of the bowling green at -1. It's looking a little better than how the ES was looking. So probably this was a better candidate. And it did get a breakout and then a small retest on yesterday's VPOC. And then it just went. That's VWAP, rotated under VWAP a little bit, broke out. Not much iceberg buying though. This one just canceled. Let me just go back, make sure. Yeah, there wasn't much iceberg buying. And it broke above VWAP. Let's see. Got to +1, and that's where it's at right now. So in hindsight, looking back at NQ, I think NQ was a little, the setup for it was better than compared to the ES. So see what the ES is doing now. All right, so we came back, we tested VWAP, and now let's see if we're going up to +1. All right, that's the break-even point right there. And I think I'm gonna move my stop to just above break-even because the trade isn't really working that well. You know what I'm saying? We're getting a breakout, rejection here, retesting VWAP. This is not supposed to come back and retest VWAP anymore. It's supposed to just go from here. So this too could be this could be a take profit somewhere around here because the bowling green is the first real target is +1. So we're taking a -1 breakout, -1 breakout after the auction between -1 and -2, taking that breakout, and we're trying to get to +1, at least +1, trying to get to +2, and then trying to get to +3. So let's see if this works out. Let's see how long is this video so far. 21 minutes. So yeah, that's the setup there. So you can see let's see here. My stop is at 5570.70 and take profit is at 5579.93. So if it does hit my take profit, I might do like a follow-up video, but that's just a breakdown of my bowling green strategy, working that out in the ETH and just breaking down my criterias for how I take that trade, you know what I'm saying? And to be honest, in the ETH open, this trade, this setup kind of works a lot better than when price is moving fast, like during the RTH open and stuff like that. You know, price whips around a lot and hits your stop and all that kind of stuff. Like it pulls back crazy and hits your stop. But in the ETH, it's a little more uniform. It's it's slower, so the trade and the levels like VWAP and -1, they kind of hold better compared to like when there's a bunch of players in the RTH with all their big money just moving price around. All right, y'all. So it's Malak Shalomo. That's my bowling green strategy on ES, and it's definitely not a trade recommendation. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm still working on perfecting that strategy. So please be advised to work out your own strategies. Don't follow my strategies. You know what I'm saying? If it inspires you to think about something or come up with something, then sure. You know what I'm saying? But it's not trading advice. Definitely not. All right, y'all. It's Malak Sholomo. Y'all trade safe and stay blessed.